After losing the biggest deal of his career, Ethan thought he could still control Nora. He had no idea she was about to expose the secret he'd hidden for years. Losing the Orion deal sent Carter Group into chaos. Within 2 days, the company's stock began to fall. Investors demanded answers. For the first time, Ethan felt the pressure of running the company without Nora behind the scenes. Meanwhile, Nora was preparing for Sinclair Group's annual shareholders meeting. Just before the meeting began, her assistant rushed in. "Miss Sinclair, Mr. Carter is here." Nora looked up. "Let him in." Ethan walked into the office carrying a bouquet of roses. "I overreacted. Let's forget everything and start over." Nora almost laughed. In her previous life, she would have forgiven him instantly. Now, she could see through every word. "You didn't come because you miss me. You came because you need me." Ethan's smile stiffened. "Nora, you're imagining things." Without replying, Nora slid a folder across the table. "Then explain these." Ethan opened it. His face instantly turned pale. Inside were copies of company emails, bank transfers, and signed agreements. Every document proved one thing: for the past 2 years, he had secretly transferred Carter Group's money into Olivia's private company, disguising it as consulting fees. Nora leaned back in her chair. "Do your shareholders know you've been using company money to fund your first love's business?" Ethan quickly closed the folder. "Where did you get these?" "That doesn't matter. What matters is that the board will see them in 10 minutes. For the first time, Ethan looked genuinely afraid. He reached for the folder. "Nora, wait, I can explain." She stood and walked toward the door. "No, you can explain it to your shareholders." Minutes later, the emergency board meeting began. Before Ethan could speak, the conference room doors opened. Nora walked in with the evidence. She placed the folder on the table. The directors read the documents one by one. The room fell into complete silence. Then the chairman looked directly at Ethan. "Is this true?" Ethan couldn't answer. Just then, Olivia burst into the room. "Ethan, the police are at my office. They're investigating my company." The directors slowly turned toward Ethan. The secret he had hidden for years had finally come crashing down. 1 year later, the Sinclair Group hosted the largest business gala in the country. Nora walked onto the stage as the youngest CEO in the company's history. The audience rose to their feet. Among the crowd stood Ethan, not as a guest. As a waiter, after losing everything, he had taken odd jobs just to survive. He quietly served drinks while watching Nora receive the Business Leader of the Year award. Their eyes met for a brief second. Ethan lowered his head in shame. Nora simply smiled and continued walking toward the stage. To her, he was no longer worth remembering. The woman who once cried for his love couldn't even remember the last time she thought about him. That was her greatest revenge.